What's something most people believe to be illegal, but in actual fact is perfectly legal? Owning lockpicking equipment, at least in Australia. That very much depends on location. In some areas you need a locksmith license, or it's considered burglary tools and you can be arrested. Imagine living someplace that prosecutes you for owning little pieces of bent metal. Yeah, New York City. It sucks. It's also illegal to carry a pocket knife. When I was in Texas I got stopped by the cops, and when they were asking me if I had any knives or anything, when they were searching me I said no, and they were like, well, why not? Tripped me out. Counting cards in casinos. They can tell you to leave, and if you refuse you can be arrested for trespassing, but counting cards is not itself illegal. Taking your own sweets to the cinema. Not illegal and actually not relevant really, but it definitely felt like a criminal act. It is not illegal to take outside food into a cinema, but if the cinema's rules state it is not allowed, they are perfectly within their rights to eject you for breaking those rules. If you refuse to leave, you are then trespassing, which is an offense. So not all cinemas will care, it just depends on their business model. Exactly. It's still a private business that can kick you out for almost any reason they see fit. You're not breaking a law, just their private rules for entering their establishment. That you're not allowed to have a light on in the car while it's moving. Parents when that happens. So you have chosen death. My father just told me it's because he wouldn't be able to see the road properly from the light reflecting in the window, mostly at night. Never used the lights since, and I've honestly been surprised by people thinking it's illegal. Parents, just be honest with your kids. Driving a right-hand drive vehicle in a left-hand drive country. I had one and people though it was illegal if you weren't a postman or garbage truck or something. American here, our neighbors growing up were British. Their son and my brother were best buds. They special ordered a right-hand steering wheel car. They didn't mention it to my mother, so she was furious when she saw my brother the front left seat at age 12. She quickly calmed when it was explained that she was having a cow about how the neighbors let my brother drive till they got back. Taking photos or making films in a public place. So many people seem to think that you can't record images of them or their property. I take pictures of old cars rotting away but often feel like I have to be sneaky in case anyone gets upset. I just find it fascinating. Little tip an old professor taught me. Just buy an orange vest online and wear it while you're shooting. Extra points for a hard hat. No one will bother you. A yellow vest, hard hat and clipboard will get you into a lot of places. I was pretty surprised to find that, unless there is a specific municipal code stating otherwise, the default in Texas is that drinking in public is just fine and dandy. Then I was further surprised to find out how few municipal codes are written in the matter. I was also surprised to find that it's legal to turn left at a red light on a one-way street. I was surprised finding out that they had to cover the bottle in the US. That really depends on where you are. Some states are picky about it, some aren't. Women going topless in public. It's as legal in Canada as men doing it, but even police officers will try to stop you and tell you it's indecent exposure, but it's completely within our rights. This isn't entirely true. Ontario, BC, and Saskatchewan all have cases that have set legal precedent allowing it, and charges haven't been brought against anyone since the 1990s, but it hasn't specifically been addressed by the Supreme Court, so someone could still be convicted of public indecency in any of the provinces/territories without legal precedent. In an assembly in high school, we had a police officer come on and talk about safe driving. He asked us to raise our hands if we knew driving with no shoes on was illegal in our state. I raised my hand along with about a quarter of the student body. My dad told me it was illegal. It wasn't, and my friends I've kept up with still laugh about it 20 something years later. To break out of prison, at least in Germany and a few other countries. I don't recommend it though. Edit. Yeah, I know all crimes done while you breaking out you're still gonna be charged for, and you will still have to go back if they catch you, but I was going for the part that breaking out itself is legal and it's not gonna get you extra time. Over here, jaywalking is not a thing. The only roads we can't cross are motorways. Otherwise, it's no crime to cross wherever. Most people I've met do this regularly but still believe that it is illegal to do. Jaywalking is generally not a crime anywhere. At best, it may be a municipal ordinance. Sharing your paycheck, your salary, with people. Companies in America sometimes threaten disciplinary action for sharing compensation details with cowhawkers, but they cannot legally. They also like to push the idea that it's a privacy thing and you shouldn't share that info for your own sake. They do this because it skews any compensation negotiations in their favor, as allows them to possibly pay someone thousands less than someone else already doing the same job. Many people think burning the American flag is illegal, like treason, but it's not. It's even literally in the flag code, section 8, paragraph K, as the most respectful way of disposing of a flag no longer fit for display. The Boy Scouts have a whole procedure of cutting the blue part out, burning it all, while saluting and playing the national anthem on a speaker. Flamethrowers I have too. Spider problems? Not 100% sure, so correct me if I'm wrong, but the act of cannibalism. The process of actually obtaining human flesh is what's illegal, but if someone were to hack off their arm and say here ya go, that would be fine. FYI, no, I'm not a cannibal. This is just the best response I could come up with. Edit. Okay, holy shit, did not expect an actual cannibal to reply to this, so there you go. Want to know more? Ask him, I guess. I'm a cannibal and this is accurate. Filming the police in public, within reason. If you give them a reasonable amount of space to do what they need to do, then yes, it is not illegal. The officer or officers may not like you doing so, but it's not illegal. However, many courts have agreed that the photographer must consider reasonable limitations on time, place, and manner. So if you're interfering with the police officer making arrest because you want to record them, expect to be arrested. You just won't be charged with illegally filming a police officer, but rather some other crime. Believe it or not, in Idaho it's still legal to ride in the bed of a pickup truck. I believe it's over 16, but still. Strangest part is, if you're in the front, you can still get ticketed for not wearing your seatbelt. Passenger 2. You can take ducks from the park. I have 187 ducks. Laminating dollar bills. Besides, they're so crisp when they're freshly laminated. Move to Canada. Our bills come pre-laminated in a rainbow of colors. I'm not even joking. In my country it was illegal to be a prostitute. Police were giving fines, but the girls simply didn't pay them, and because police was giving too much fines without someone actually paying them, they just made prostitution legal. Outstanding move. Driving barefoot. Where I'm from, it is illegal to drive without pants. Pretty sure it's a public indecency thing. I don't know if that's a state law or just local. Smoking underaged. It's illegal for minors to buy cigarettes and to possess them, as well as for vendors to sell to them, but it isn't illegal to be physically smoking them. I'd love to see someone explain to a judge how they were smoking a cigarette, but didn't actually possess it. Running a stop sign on private property, at a shopping mall. Owning a tank, and driving it on the streets. There are steps though. Standing in front of a store, when a store owner tells you to leave. The store is their property, but the sidewalk is public property. This is a weird law in UK. It's a long process to own a gun, but you can't have a handgun, but you are allowed to own an Uzi. Dafork. Picking blue bonnets in Texas. It's the state flower. I used to paint graffitis when I was younger. In my country, the fact you paint on somebody else's property will have no consequences if the owner of the building don't go himself to the cops to complain. Lots of owners of industrial buildings won't bother wasting time visiting the cops for a bit of paint. They simply give no shit. I've been busted a few times by the cops painting on such buildings, and they were not allowed to take my paint from me or to take me to the cops station. They were not even allowed to make me stop. All they could do was checking my pockets and hoping I had a few spliffs if they wanted to bother me, lol. Moving huge amounts of wealth offshore to avoid paying your share of taxes. It's fucked up, but not illegal. I like your username. It made me chuckle. Burning the American flag. Private gun sales.